Thank you so much for that, Matthew. Thank you, Carl. That was awesome. Always great to get insight into what some of the biggest financial institutions in the world are doing in this wild, wacky space. We've got another great fireside coming up for us. Thank you all so much. This one's called From Merger to Momentum, ASI and the Road to Decentralized AGI. This is going to be with Ben Goertzel, founder and CEO of SingularityNET, Humayun Sheikh, founder and CEO of Fetch.ai, and moderated by Nicola Massella, partner of Storm Partners. Please help me welcome Nicola, Ben, and Humayun to the stage. Thank you so much.
So, thank you very much for being here with us. I would start from a very brief introduction about yourselves, just 30 seconds, who you are, and a bit about the project.
Yeah, Humayun Sheikh, CEO and founder, Fetch.ai. We started Fetch in 2019, listed token, and we're building agentic framework for the next generation of AI.
Ben Goertzel, I'm a CEO of SingularityNET, and together with Humayun, lead the Artificial Superintelligence Alliance. I founded SingularityNET in 2017, but have been working on AI and decentralization in various forms for many, many decades before that.
So we are talking about quite a long-established project for the time span of the crypto space. Something very interesting that happened last year was the merger that created the ASI Alliance. It was the largest merger in terms of token mergers by market cap when the tokens were aggregated. And it was also a quite unique operation in the crypto space. Not many token mergers have been done before. So, of course, the question is, why to merge? What was the reason behind this aggregation of different projects? And I guess we can do one-on-one.
Yeah, I mean, the benefits of scale for AI are well known in this era and much discussed, and that is the essence of the reason for the merger with Fetch, SingularityNET, Ocean, and then Kudos has joined. I mean, all of the merging projects, Fetch, SNet, and Ocean, had broadly similar aspirations to use the power of decentralization to realize smarter and smarter systems, providing better and better services by letting decentralized AI agents collaborate together to do things. And we all viewed our main competitors as the centralized AI behemoths of the big tech world, right? So if we could join forces together, you know, we don't come as big as Google or Microsoft, but we're getting better scale. So then putting slightly larger scale together with our better AI algorithms and the incentivization power of tokenomics, it seemed like we're getting closer to the scale that we need, you know, to make our decentralized AI the dominant form of AI on the planet.
Yeah, if you think about building AI applications, you need the whole tech stack. And in crypto, what you see is a lot of projects building very siloed, small part of that technology stack. So if you look at all the merger participants, we bring different complementary technology which enables you to build a tech stack which is very comprehensive. So you can deploy a full solution and you don't have to worry too much about I'm going to get data from one project and I'm going to convert it into next project to train something, and then I'm going to do something else to put it on agents and use the LLM. So now we have a tech stack which is fully comprehensive, right from compute all the way up to the application layer and everything in between, which makes it a lot more efficient. And actually, as Ben was saying, we can actually compete with the Web2 and the corporations which are out there building these solutions.
Thank you very much. Let's talk a bit about the achievement of artificial general intelligence, something that seemed far in the future, but then more recently, various declarations, even from OpenAI, are arguing that probably it could be closer than expected. So what about the achievement of decentralized artificial intelligence? How close are we, and how is ASI Alliance best positioned to achieve it?
So my friend Ray Kurzweil, in his book, The Singularity is Near, in 2005, predicted we would get to human-level AGI in 2029. I'd been thinking about it for many decades before that. At the time he put out this book in 2005, many people thought that was a pretty out there notion. So in 2005, right? So now we're in 2025. It's 4 years from 2029, and a lot more people are thinking it's plausible we could get to a human-level thinking machine by 2029, right? The prediction doesn't seem that crazy, and I'm one of them. I mean, I think it could be 2 years, it could be 5 years, it could be 7 years. We're going to get to machines that can think, generalize, imagine, create as well as people. I think it's remarkably close on the time scale of human evolution. On the other hand, the end game can still be dramatic, right? And just because big tech appears to be in the lead now, as has been famously discussed, there's not much of a moat around their lead. And we saw a paper put out by Apple just a couple of days ago demonstrating quite compellingly that the reasoning LLMs put out by big tech are not actually reasoning very well. And when you give them puzzles just a little bit beyond their training data, they're not that smart at all. So while I think historically we're quite close to AGI, there's still a bunch of work to do. And there's still plenty of room for upstarts like us in the decentralized world to take the lead over big tech in the AGI race. And one of the secret sauces that we have from being decentralized is the power of diversity. We can pull in a lot of different people, a lot of different communities, every country in the world, and we can pull in a lot of different AI algorithms on a lot of different data sets to all work together, as opposed to the more monolithic approaches that large centralized entities will take. I think large language models, like the ones big tech has done, and like the ones that we have in our own ecosystem, like the ASI 1 model that Humayun's team has launched, that I'll talk about in a moment. Large language models are a powerful component of what we need to get to AGI. I don't think they're good enough. We need to add components better at logical reasoning, as the recent Apple paper highlighted, components that are better at fundamental, sort of out there creativity, like evolutionary learning. We have a diverse, decentralized community that can put agents involving these diverse algorithms on our platform where they can cooperate together to give rise to AGI. So I think in the end, while big tech seems to have the lead, by leveraging the power of decentralized networks of agents contributed by a diverse, decentralized community, we will be able to overtake big tech, and the first human-level AGIs may well be launched on a decentralized network.
Thank you very much. Humayun, the conversation when we speak about artificial general intelligence seems a bit theoretical, but ASI has some real products that some are already out and usable, and some are coming up later this year. Would you mind telling us a bit more about those?
I think I'll tie into what Ben was saying, whereas I'm not as optimistic in saying that AGI will be here in the next 2-3 years. I definitely think all the technology that is around us is making it faster to get to AGI. The definition of AGI is changing all the time. I mean, a 20-year-old definition, we already have AGI right now, right? But if you think about how this is going to come about is with the products. So what would happen, and you saw that in OpenAI's product, everybody's building AGI, but they are releasing products which people can use. So within ASI, we've taken the same approach. We are releasing products which are covering the whole stack. I mean, for example, ASI 1 is our own LLM, but it has something special in comparison, which is it's actually built for agents and AI agentic systems. And it's actually, it kind of is parallel to what exists, let's say in ChatGPT or any of the others. So you can actually build agentic systems. What is quite cool about that is you can build these systems, and the LLMs are learning from delivering those systems. So the acceleration, because it's open, because it's decentralized, the participation is very open, you can actually improve the performance of LLMs quicker, and you can actually build algorithms and introduce them a lot quicker because they're all agentic, and you can actually assign an agent to another algorithm, and it can actually bring that in. So collectively, the pace at which we're going to get to is much higher. So the product stack we have is converting that into the agentic system, which is the application layer. And then we're bringing in multiple projects like ASI 1, we have ASI Train, which is for building and training models. And then everything can be deployed and people can use it right now. It's available.
Thank you very much. So that's really interesting what you said about the fact that our characteristics of decentralization could even accelerate and help us in achieving our AGI before some of the tech giants. And I think, as even a normal person that doesn't have a technical background, this puzzles me a bit. Like, how is it, let's say, how do we compete with players that have much more resources than us?
I mean, we could have asked the same thing. How could Microsoft compete with IBM and Honeywell and digital equipment in the 70s and 80s, right? I mean, throughout the history of the whole tech ecosystem, I mean, you have an innovator's dilemma where large companies stuck in their ways are overtaken by smaller companies with new and better ideas. So this would not be the first time that it happened in history. And if you look specifically at what big tech companies are doing with AI, they're all doing the same thing. I mean, they're launching large language models, and they're building their whole infrastructure around that. Now, we also have an amazing large language model, ASI1, that Humayun has just talked about, but we're not restricted to just that. We have a framework where we can connect that LLM, and we can connect it with a logical reasoning engine. We can connect it with evolutionary learning for creativity, and we're launching a product quite shortly called Quello, which is a deep research engine that brings together some symbolic reasoning on logical knowledge graphs together with deep learning. Now, you could say, why can't big tech copy this? Of course they can, and of course IBM could have copied Microsoft, and digital could have copied Google, right? But I mean, this is not how the history of business goes. You accumulate a bunch of brilliant developers around a new set of ideas and a new tech stack, and this group of developers has momentum, and then with that momentum, you launch stuff that the entrenched orthodoxy couldn't do, right? And we've been building toward that for some time. I mean, I introduced the concept of AGI in 2005, the same year Ray Kurzweil made his book, The Singularity is Near, and I've been building AI systems since well before that. We've been building our agentic blockchain network since 2017, 2019, Ocean Protocol 2018. So it's been a while building the tech stacks to enable the products that we're launching this year. It hasn't been as much money as big tech has put in, but it's been a lot of brain power by a lot of smart engineers, right?
Thank you very much. So I guess the crowd is also interested in understanding a bit more about these mergers, because it's something that has been coming up more and more in the crypto space, this idea of unifying projects that have maybe a similar vision and can create synergies by integrating their tech stack, but also resources and so on. So I wanted to understand from your point of view, now that the merge happened like around a year ago, how would you describe the process? Was it painful? Was it not? Is it still maybe one strength and one weakness about being together?
I mean, I can quickly give my view. it's never easy to bring too many intelligent and strong people together. There is a benefit in it, and that's why we do it. But luckily, the way we merged is that we maintained our own teams. We maintained our own treasuries. So it's quite a unique way of merging, which of course has its own problems because you're in a decentralized space. You're not as connected as perhaps a centralized entity would be. But it has its benefits as well, which is you still maintain your independent status, but you collectively work towards building the tech stack. And I think for me, the best part has been bringing the teams together to think and add value to the products, to the whole ecosystem, bringing all the ecosystem together and actually doing this huge amount of research and bringing that in, which Ben has been doing, and introduce that within the products to actually build a much better tech stack. So for me, I think, yes, with difficulty, but that's human difficulty. But actually, technology-wise, I think it was the right thing to do.
Yeah, I think pulling the tech stacks together has certainly been a big plus. So for example, we have ASI 1 model from Fetch. And on our Quello deep research project that we're launching shortly, we're using ASI 1 on the back end, combined with our own knowledge graphs and components from our Hyperon AGI research project, right? So we can put their LLM stuff together with our symbolic AGI research stuff on the back end of a product, and you get a stronger research engine that way. Now, in theory, you could cooperate without merging, and we had talked about cooperating without merging on the technology side before, but it didn't actually happen, right? Now, after doing the tokenomic merger, some technological cooperation actually occurred because you have an added economic incentive. And I would say, so we're designing now something called ASI chain, which will be the first true ASI layer 1, which will have a shard mechanism somewhat like, but in many ways much better than BitTensor's subnetworks, I would say. But in designing this ASI chain and sharding mechanism, again, it's been valuable to put our heads together and our different tech stacks and different experiences together. So I think there's been a lot of synergy on the tech side in terms of product design, both with these ASI 1 and Quello products, and then with the ASI chain that we're going to launch, which should be quite big. I think the culture integration has probably been the hardest part, which is commonly the case with mergers in the traditional business world also. I mean, we have more of an AGI R&D culture in SingularityNET and perhaps in Ocean as well, whereas Fetch has had more of a commercially oriented culture, and that's required everyone to stretch a bit toward mutual understanding. But I think, as Humayun said, the fact that we've merged tokens but not merged organizations means that the cultures don't have to fuse, right? So, I mean, the cultures have to synergize and work together, but we can each remain our own organizations operating according to our own culture. We just have to cooperate together. And I think this is a case where the flexibility offered by smart contracts and crypto tokens is enabling new forms of organizational structure, right? Because you don't have this kind of merger in the traditional world where some companies decide to make a common share on the exchange but remain separate companies. You could, but it's quite rare in the traditional business world, and it seems to work much better in the tokenomic sphere.
I think you said something very interesting that might not be clear for everybody, which is the fact that this merger, for the peculiarity of the Web3 industry, didn't necessarily involve merging the various legal entities and organizations, but basically was based on creating a common entity, the ASI Alliance, that would coordinate the activities of the different members of the Alliance. This is particularly interesting, and sorry if I maybe have a lawyer bias, because of course, as a legal counsel of SingularityNET, we have assisted on the thing. But I think it's very interesting, and it's also a power of the Web3 industry. It's a type of merger that is not possible in the traditional...
And it's about the power of diversity to me, right? Just like I think one of the reasons we can beat big tech to AGI is because decentralization fosters diversity. Big tech is focused on one AI algorithm, so if it sucks, then, well, they got to re-engineer everything. We can bring together multiple AI algorithms running in multiple AI agents, cooperating together on a decentralized fabric. And in the same way, we can merge, but we don't have to squelch the diversity among our individual organizations. We can bring the power of that diversity to bear to build more robust systems. And that is a strength enabled both on the technical level and the human organization level by the decentralization that's implicit in the operation of smart contract-based networks.
And this also leaves the door open for other projects to join the ASI Alliance, right, Humayun?
It has to be quite relevant and beneficial because we have a tech stack, we have a mission, we're heading towards decentralized AGI. I mean, we can't just merge with anything. It has to make sense technologically and token-wise to enable that. But yes, there is the opportunity of other projects to come into the merger. We did bring a fourth partner, which is Kudos, because we, as a tech stack, the three of us did not have the compute in the tech stack. So Kudos brought in the compute platform to kind of complete the tech stack. Of course, there is many other things which could help. And if it's a relevant project, we're quite open to that.
Thank you very much. And I think one last aspect that we should consider is that the merger also merged, to a certain extent, our communities because it created a single community of token holders. And I wanted maybe to hear a bit your perspective about these and about the future of our token.
So the community is one of the strongest things that this merger achieved, because if you think about all the separate communities, bringing them all together, you suddenly have a much bigger momentum of actually not just the following of the project, but also the utilization of the project. So we are seeing utilization of our products increasing exponentially, especially over the last 3 months. And that's thanks to the bigger community that we've been able to put together as all the 4 projects. So I think community in itself is very powerful. Diversity, as Ben was saying, is very powerful, and it comes with a bigger community.
That's great. Ben, any last takeaways?
I think the community is going to be key, and this really has to do with the broader questions of like, why are we building AI? Why are we building AGI? Why are we working toward superintelligence, which is, after all, the name of our alliance, Artificial Superintelligence Alliance, right? I mean, of course, there's multiple motives involved with any complex human activity, and people are going to make a lot of money in building AI and AGI. But, I mean, on the whole, the reason humanity is working toward AGI is because we've been striving to make our lives better and more fulfilling for a long time, since we emerged from, hunter-gatherer to agriculture to industrial revolution to computer revolution, now AGI revolution, right? So, I mean, we're developing all this advanced technology primarily, along with a bunch of other side motives, primarily to make lives more fulfilling for our whole species, and we want to get to a beneficial AGI and a beneficial superintelligence that will be good for all of us. And I think one of the beautiful things in the blockchain world, in the decentralized world, is a recognition that if you want to work for the common good, you want people to be cooperating together in a massive community with participatory decision making, which isn't about voting, which is one of the least interesting ways to pull together people. It's about people participating actively in networks, right? So we want to pull in a broad community to help us build a decentralized AI network that will turn into AGI, that will turn into a superintelligence. I mean, we have liquid utility token. There's loads of money to be made along the way to AGI and ASI, but I mean, even more importantly than that, it's a chance for the community to participate in shaping the mind, of the first superhuman thinking machine that humanity builds, which quite plausibly can pop out of this decentralized AI ecosystem that we're all part of.
Very interesting. And one last thing, so due to confidentiality, we cannot still disclose the details, but maybe one thing that we could say is that the recent shift in the regulatory approach in the US also unlocked some further interest from the traditional financial industry in cooperating with Web3 projects. And I know that there is something going on for the ASI Alliance in that regard. Is there something that we could say about it, or?
Without, I mean, I think the main interesting point that's happening is that crypto and decentralized space is being recognized in terms of the capital markets. So there are plenty of companies who are trying to use the technology that we're building and the technology that we're trying to deploy. We have seen a lot of interest coming from the corporates, especially from the US, to use and deploy our technology. Now, the complication, which is where we are providing them a solution, is that we are token-based economies. So how do you convert that token-based economy into bringing it to the capital market, where the capital market participants, the companies, the enterprise can actually build solutions? Because you've seen reservation from most of the enterprise because we are decentralized, we are tokenized. And if we can overcome that barrier, then a lot of the companies, the utility will kind of drive into the Web3 space. And that's what we've tried to kind of overcome. And I think in the next few hours, we should be announcing something around that, hopefully. And yeah, you'll see when it comes out.
Thank you. So stay tuned for an announcement coming up in the next few hours. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Nicola.